Hi everybody and welcome to my EFT video series. This video is number 17 and if you are new to EFT, I recommend you watch some of my first videos which will introduce you to the concept of EFT, and you will be able to understand what is going on, what's happening as we tap, and so on. So this time I decided to do a video about mental health first aid with the help of EFT. And the reason why I decided to do that is because there is so much pressure nowadays, so much pressure from the media, from social media, especially for young people. And recently at the school where I work, there was something very sad happened. There was a suicide, and this kind of prompted me to think, oh, I want to do something to help, because it's very sad when things like that happen. And you know, I always ask myself, you know, how can we help? How can we be of help to others who are in distress? And about 10 years ago, I actually did go on the mental health first aid course, and the video today will not be so much about that, or it won't be so much about you being able to see, well, what actually is wrong, what type of mental health issue the person you are supporting suffers from, because that is not kind of your role. But the role that you would have as a friend or as a work colleague or whatever would be to support somebody through those difficult times. Of course, if you are in doubt and if you know, the issue is serious, then I always recommend that you call the ambulance or help take these people to accident and emergency, because you know, once you do that, you will know that that person will be in good hands, and this person then would be assessed by health professionals and everything else. But this is about helping you to cope with the pressure of supporting someone who is in distress. And what happens is that if we see somebody in distress, somehow it kind of the neurons connect, and it brings us into our own state of panic and unease, and we don't quite know what to do, what to say. And that is why these courses on mental health first aid, I believe, are very important. But what I'll do today is focus on yourself as a helper, and looking after yourself and making sure that your own needs are looked after, and that you treat yourself with compassion and love. Because once you are able to do that, and once you are able to love yourself, you actually won't have any issue supporting someone who is distressed. Once you have this love in you, it won't be uncomfortable seeing somebody being so distressed, because if somebody is distressed, the most important thing for them is not to hear some kind of advice, or you know, people often say, oh, you know, all will be fine, you'll pull out of it and everything else. But that is actually not what that person wants to hear. That person will be reassured to know that you're there to be with them and to help them carry the pain which sadly they are going through at the moment, and also to remind them that this too will pass. And yeah, so when it comes to the tapping, so when we see someone in distress, straight away we start to panic ourselves, or not panic, but we become very uncomfortable. So there is a little bit of tapping to help you if you've been through situations like that, or you know, in the future you will be helping others. The tapping which we'll do today is just about you becoming aware of what is going on for you and connect with that. And so I will start tapping on the karate chop. And what very often kind of happens with these tapping, that I would say to the client or to the person, well, rate the intensity of the distress, of the emotion that you're feeling, and after we've done the tapping round, then we'll reassess it. And if you of course don't have that emotion or that distress right at this very moment, just think of it. Just think of a situation or an occasion where you came across something similar and think, what was the intensity then? And then just rate it, give it a number. And what we'll be doing is, after we've tapped, we'll revisit the number and see what happened for you during that one tapping round. And I said one tapping round is when we tap on all the acupuncture points. So even though I get distressed seeing another person panicking, being in distress, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I panic, I feel this panic when I see another person feeling distressed. That's okay. It's okay to feel like that. It's only human. We are all only human, so we will feel like that. Even though I feel so much panic when I see another person being distressed, I don't know what to do. I feel helpless. I feel powerless. I don't know what to do. I love and accept myself anyway. So now we'll be doing the reminder phrases on all the points. This panic, this distress, this hopelessness, I don't know what to do. What am I meant to do? I start panicking myself. All this distress, this panic, I feel so powerless, so helpless, so useless. I'm lost as to what to do to help. I feel lost. So take a deep breath now. And just feel what is it that is coming up for you. So doing the EFT tapping, it's helping us to connect with ourselves. And one thing about, you know, as I was talking about all the pressure from the media and everything else, a lot of us aren't happy with ourselves. We don't love ourselves. Yesterday I watched a program which was trying to help people fall in love with their bodies. And the way it was just an experiment. It's just research going on into all that. So it's all new and quite controversial. And it was about people going to a nudist beach. So it wouldn't happen straight away, but the people who are not happy with their own bodies, they go on a retreat, and the hosts are kind of people who love their bodies, and they kind of come out naked and everything else. And as I said, it is a very controversial experiment at the moment, but I watched it with interest, and I was able to notice that after a week of these 3 participants who went on this retreat, after just 1 week, and at the beginning of that week, that's something they would actually never do. They would never consider being naked on a beach, and they managed to do it at the end. And I was surprised how confident these people have become. And one of the ladies actually has launched her own lingerie business, and you know, those people who went there and they were not happy with their bodies, and you know, they had all these stretch marks and everything else, they were starting to fall in love with their bodies. And the amazing thing really was that as they did, they were so much more confident, so much more happy. You know, all that fear, worry and fear about people judging them, it has just gone. And you know, this is all kind of is all of us. We all judge ourselves. We all listen to this voice in us which tells us, you know, you are unlovable, you're not good enough, you know, you don't look good, and all the best. You know, all the rest, not all the best, of course. And you know, when I was younger, I always used to look like a boy, and I wasn't very popular. And then one day I said to myself, so you know, kind of I kept repeating to myself, well, you know, I'm not very attractive, I'm not good enough, you know. But one day, that's the messages I kind of kept hearing, and one day I actually looked in the mirror and I said, actually, why not? Why wouldn't I be lovable? You know, why wouldn't I be good enough? I've got all these qualities. And, you know, I started to believe that I am lovable, that I'm beautiful, and everything else. And since then, my life started to turn for the better. I realized I am, you know, I have a lot to give others and everything else. And it's about, you know, we listen to the messages from our, you know, internal voice, and the messages will become reality. When my husband was in his late 40s. He used to represent a Argentinian company, and then one day a chocolate company called Cadbury has bought this company out, and my husband basically lost the business, and he just was trying to find another job, and it wasn't very easy. And the message he was kind of trying to broadcast to everyone, he said, well, once you're over 40, you are over the hill, or something like that. I don't quite remember what he used to say, but he said you're over the hill, and once you're over 40 and companies won't hire you, there's just no jobs and everything else. And you know, he was listening to that voice in his head, and sadly when he was 60 he got cancer, and you know, he died. And you know, if we are listening to these voices, that is what kind of will happen. I've just got this nice story which I read only recently, and it's about animals. And there is this bear. These animals are on some kind of race, and this bear's got a message for everybody. And the rumor was that there will be some messages that some of the animals will die. Some, only some. And so the first thing every one of these animals does is when they reach when they reach the finish line and the bear is there, they ask, oh, what is my message? Will I die? So the bear says, yes, you will die. You are on the list. So what happens is the animal goes, and not long, you know, the animal dies. And that happened to all the animals. And at the end, there is a tortoise, and the tortoise, being a tortoise, goes very slow, and tortoise asks the bear, what is the message for me? What is the message? And the bear says, you will die too. And the tortoise says to the bear, actually, take that message out, that's not for me. And the tortoise continues living a very long life, till of course one day he dies too. But it's like, you know, it's about helping us to take ourselves off this list or whatever messages we are getting. And you know, I've recently been on a very interesting workshop about being in the body, and one of the things we kind of did in there was about learning to love ourselves. And this was something very hard for a lot of people to do. And one of the things was to put your hand on the heart center And actually some of the EFT schools will start their tapping that way. So instead of, you often see me tap on the karate chop. And instead of tapping on the karate chop, they will put their hand on the heart center where, you feel that is me. And they will say, the setup, they will do the setup. But on this workshop, we put our hands wherever felt comfortable, or we could also kind of cuddle ourselves and say, I love you, I love me. And it was something which was quite hard for a lot of us to do. And it is this very thing which will help us to be good, someone be very good at supporting another person who is in distress. Because if we see that person in distress, rather than us saying, oh no, everything will be fine, rather than us being the rescuer, I don't know if you know the drama triangle, and in that drama triangle there is a rescuer, perpetrator and victim. And we often, when we are in that victim role, we will often switch from rescuing to being the perpetrator, whatever. But EFT is very much helping us to become empowered and to love ourselves. And I will round up this video with tapping on whatever it is we need to attract into our lives, so that we love ourselves, and then we are then able to help others. And also when we do love ourselves, we won't be so much dependent on what others people think of us, because it won't upset us. Because if we've got these strong kind of how would I say, this strong sense of worth and love for ourselves, we will be able to realize that what other people say, is not something which would be offending us. We'll kind of say, oh yeah, okay, all right, probably they had just a bad day. We'll dismiss that. We won't be adding that to one of these kind of negative messages in our brain. So I will, at the end, I will do the tapping with us being grounded in the heart position. One good thing you can also do is to breathe in. Breathe in into your heart center, the count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe out. And as you do that, just imagine a big smile or big heart, or shining out in the middle, or this sunshine shining out from the bottom of your heart. And think what it is you want to attract into your life. And I have brought this picture which I have just recently made for one of my friends, so it's a gift, but I'm still using it before I give that to her. And it, I thought it was so interesting as I listened to another podcast, and there was a question, what colors are your healing colors? What colors do you associate, with, what do you see as your healing colors? And that person said, oh, it's blue, yellow and gold. These colors are my healing colors. And then I thought, wow, I made this picture of a sun, and these colors are indeed healing colors. But then of course the colors which are healing for us are very much individual. So if blue is not your healing color, then just say which color it is for you. And also this image, re-imprint a positive image into your mind, which you can then, you can have it in your mind's eye for the next few weeks, and re-imprint that image of love, that compassion, whatever else you need to attract more into your life. So I will say, I want to attract more love into my life. If you hold that on your heart center and repeat after me, whatever it is you want to attract into your life. So I want to attract more love, more healing, more sunshine into my life. And then we'll just tap on all these things which you want to attract into your life. So love, happiness, happy, happy, happy energy, smiling sunshine, healing gold, healing yellow, healing blue, smiling sunshine, happy energy, healing energy, love, happiness, healing energy, energy of gold. And put your hand on your heart center and say thank you. Thank you for looking after me. Just always be grateful, grateful. You know, if you have a life and you are grateful, thank yourself for the time you took to look after yourself, the time you took to get to know yourself better, the time you took for your own healing. And you know, if you do that enough, then, as I said, anyone else who presents in distress, you will be happy to help them. You will be happy to hold that space for them. And the next video I will make is I will do a video about depression and how EFT can help with that. So till then, happy tapping, and I look forward to see you next time.